Hi, Ask Team. This is Jeremy Levan, and I'm the pastor at Epic Church. I want to thank you guys for all that you're doing. I also want to just share a thought to encourage you. A few years ago, I was at the beach at Lake Michigan with my 3-year-old son, Jace. I went with him into the water, and I put him in the water, and at first, he was doing okay. But then the waves began to startle him. Eventually, one knocked him over, and he immediately got up out of the water, and he just reached up and said, "Daddy, help, up." So I scooped him right up and I just held him and I let him know that I was going to be there for him and that it was going to be okay. I know all of us are being hit with a wave right now, and this season that we're going through can be scary and exhausting, especially for those that are in the trenches like yourself that are fighting this battle by caring for the most vulnerable. I'm reminded of a story in the Bible about a guy by the name of Moses who had just led the people of Israel out of Egypt. Now they're about to be attacked by an invading army. It doesn't look good. In fact, if God doesn't intervene, it's going to be a bloodbath. The Israelites aren't prepared for battle. So Moses assesses the situation. He's got a few options. He could take off and run. He and his family are at least familiar with the territory. He might be able to save them. He could go to the high ground and try to direct the battle or throw down the rocks or just try to curse his situation. He doesn't do any of that. Instead, he goes with two of his trusted friends to the high ground, and he just raises his arms up to God like any 2 or 3-year-old would to his heavenly Father, and he says, "Help, God. We need your help." And so long as Moses was lifting up his hands, the Israelites were able to defeat their enemy. When his arms grew tired and he lowered them, they would start to lose. Eventually, Moses and his buddies, they figured this out, and so they get underneath of his arms to help hold his arms up. Eventually, Israel wins the battle. You know, it's easy for us to try and just depend on ourselves when we face the waves of life's battle. But this story reminds me that the tide of life's battle is determined by the position of our hands. What I mean by that is I just really want to encourage you to ask God for his help. Even if you would say that you're unfamiliar with him or that you don't know him, I also want to encourage you just to allow others to help support you and to help lift your arms through this time. You know, as a church, we want you to know that we're praying for you and we are asking God to help you and your families through this battle. We know that with God's help, we're going to get through this together. Thanks again for all that you're doing. We are so grateful for all of you.